they get to the top, finally figure out we're in a satanic organization. And it really is satanic, but they won't know that. And they purposely try to bring in Christians into their organization, pastors, just so they get a good image for the community. Because there's a secret club inside that secret club. And the average Mason doesn't know about the secret club on the inside. But anyway, I can't prove it's set up by the Masons. This is what the research has shown. They say the Masonic, some Masons sponsored to have this done. But on the Georgia Guidestones in 12 languages, it says, commandment number 1, maintain humanity under 500 million. That's a $500 million. Now wait a minute. There's already 6 billion on the planet. How are you going to maintain it under a $500 million? Well, it looks to me like somebody has to go, right? A whole bunch of somebodies have to go. If you want to see all 10 of the 10 commandments for the New Age, they're listed on radioliberty.com, is a great website, and also, I forgot the www, but cuttingedge.org is a good website that deals with this type of thing, of these guys who have plans for their new world order. In the center, there's a slot. I'll back it up here. You can see right above Jeremy's head, right beside Jeremy, there's a black line there. That's a slot cut in the granite. On June 21st, at summer solstice, when the sun's as high as it's going to get above the equator, it shines through that slot at high noon and focuses on a dot down on a piece of concrete or something. I don't know what's on the dot, but it's all the symbolism stuff, sort of like Stonehenge and the Great Pyramid and all this same kind of stuff. But there's the Georgia Guidestones. If you're ever driving through there, Eric, stop and see that. So get your picture next to it. We'll put you there. The population today, though, is about 6 billion. It's over 6 billion. And it indicates man has not been here for millions of years. So this is the first one of the evidences I use that the Earth is not billions of years old. The population simply doesn't support the idea. Keep in mind, the evolutionists must have billions of years, and it isn't available. So let's take a little mini quiz. It won't count for a grade. What was the population in 1800? 1 billion. At the time of Christ, what was it? 1/4 of a billion. Well, it's right there on the chart here. When did we cross over the 5 billion mark? 1985. 1985, right. Nobody argues about these dates. 1962, 3 billion. Now this is an interesting thought. This certainly couldn't be proven, but it very well could be true. How many of the people born in 1930 are still alive? Quite a few, right? They're 70 years old. It has been said, I don't know that you could prove it, but it has been said there could be more people alive today than there are people that are dead today. The total population of the world ever that's lived and died could be less than 6 billion. I don't know, but that's an interesting thought. When you stop and put that together, say, wow. Talk about an opportunity for the mission field. We have more people to reach now than ever before. Certainly more. We can reach more now than Paul did and Peter did. And we have better ways to do it. You can preach on TV and it goes all over the world. Or via the internet. And I think we ought to use every available means to reach every available person. Okay. Take a couple more facts here about the population, about the age of the universe. And then we'll quit for the day. The galaxies, the stars are generally in big clusters called galaxies. What galaxy do we live in? The Milky Way galaxy, right? Which is why if you look in the sky a certain direction, you kind of look through the side of our own galaxy, and it's kind of all white, like a milky stripe across there, because it's zillions of stars. The stars in the middle are going faster. Now, the star itself, you can't tell if it's spinning or not, but it's moving in a circle around the center of its galaxy. The stars in the middle go faster than the stars at the outside. So the galaxy is slowly winding up. The center ones are going to go faster, and it's going to spiral, it's going to twist itself in, and that's what causes the spiral arms. But this can only happen for a short time. Can't happen for billions and billions of years, because if the stars were all moving different speeds, pretty soon you wouldn't have these arms anymore. It would be just one big, smooth, homogeneous mass. You might want to get the book In the Beginning by Walt Brown. He gives the details on this and references of where you can find the proof of this. Page 23 and page 30, he deals with a lot on this. That's a fascinating book. Now, Walt Brown doesn't agree with me on a couple things, on the canopy theory and stuff like that. I'll straighten him out someday. But he's just a brilliant man, and it's really an awesome book. I'd recommend that. Yes, sir.
Do you think the book In the Beginning is better than the other book, Set on Myself?
It's a Young World by John Morris. It's different. They're both good. If you look in your seminar notebook on page, we're talking about the age of the earth. On page 12, 13, 11, 12, 13 is where I talk about the evidence from the age of the earth. Page 11 has the sources. If you want to read good books on this topic, I've got 12 of them listed here. All of these books deal with the question, how old is the universe? And if you want to go down deep, stay down long, come up dry, this is some of the stuff you want to read right here. I would say Henry Morris's book, Scientific Creationism, would be a great one I would start with. If you want a simpler one, though that's not too hard. The very last one, John Morris, A Young Earth. We sell that here through our ministry, or you can get it through ICR or Master Books. Walt Brown, In the Beginning, number 11, is a great one. If you could only pick a few, I'd pick those three. Probably next would be number 4, Paul Ackerman, It's a Young World After All. That's a really good one. Those are some that you might want to get just to gain more information so you can document what you're saying on this topic. What I do on my slides here, I put other documentation at the bottom so I can just keep on talking and speed up, and if somebody has a question, well, they can look it up for themselves, a reference at the bottom. So the galaxies also, there's another thing I don't mention here, but I do in the seminar notebook. Not only are the galaxies themselves spinning and closing in tighter, and the arms should be disappearing, but the clusters of galaxies. You got 10 galaxies all clustered together. Together is a relative term. They're a long ways apart. But they're spreading out. The galaxy clusters are expanding, which proves they haven't been moving for billions of years. I'm real cautious. Eric, in the early days when I was doing my seminar, I would quote a number. And I would say, this proves the galaxies have to be less than 1 billion years old. And some of the skeptics who don't seem to see the forest because the trees are in the way, they will say, oh, it's not 1 billion, it's 1.5 billion. You can't do your math. And they would pick on the number and still miss the whole point. So I'm real cautious now to not give specific numbers when I go through these proofs of a young Earth. And nothing proves the Earth is 6,000 years old, except the Bible. That's the only way you're going to get 6,000 is from this book. Now, there's ways you can limit it to less than billions, but the only way you're going to get 6,000 is right here. Red stars, they call them a red giant star. Now, I have to stop right here and say, you get the biggest telescope in the world, you look at the closest star, you cannot tell how big it is. All you see is a dot. So I think it's probably true that red stars are larger, but we don't know that for positively. All the astronomers say the red stars are larger. How do you know that? Well, we think it's larger. Well, okay, maybe it is, and it probably is, but I'd be careful about being dogmatic about that. You cannot see the size of any of these stars. You can't even see a star. You don't see the surface, like you see the sun with the flames leaping off. Get the biggest telescope in the world, look at the closest star, which is Alpha Centauri, and all you see is a dot. You get a bigger telescope, you see the dot better. That's about it. When they put the Hubble up, somebody said, are you worried when they put the Hubble up they're going to prove evolution? I said, oh no, I can tell you exactly what they're going to see with the Hubble. They said, what? I said, they're going to see more stars. That's what they did, too. It's neat to go out at night and look at part of the sky, let your eyes focus on it, and all of a sudden more stars start appearing, and then get a telescope and put it up there. And like, wow! Things that you thought were just a few stars, all of a sudden now that little dot is an entire galaxy of billions of stars. It's unreal. I've got a video clip I need to add in here about, all right, I'll put it in part 7 probably. Somebody did that. They took a video through a telescope as they were zooming in. And what looked like just a few stars, all of a sudden these stars became entire clusters of galaxies, and it's blow your mind. It's so beautiful, I hope when we get to heaven, the Lord allows us to travel at the speed of thought. All you got to do is think about being somewhere. I'm glad students can't do it now because they'd be in and out of the room all the time, I think I'm at the beach. Hey, come on back. Of course, at the speed of thought, some people would go pretty slow, come to think of it. But a few of those. Okay, textbooks say that red giant stars slowly evolve into a white dwarf star. Now, it seems to be true that red stars do change to white stars after a while. And they've got a whole series set up of how this happens. And if you take an astronomy course, they'll go through all the go down deep, stay down long kind of stuff on how stars burn up.